folks. Today I'd like to take a casual peek into the Batman Legacy Edition Arkham City Catwoman action figure set by Mattel. This figure set is part of Wave 3 of the Batman Legacy Edition 2-pack sets, and this particular 2-pack set does contain Batman and Catwoman. Now, this video will focus solely on the Catwoman action figure, and a separate video will focus on the Batman figure. The set was first released in early 2012, and I got it at a Toys R Us and paid $29.99 for this set. Now, taking a look at the nice looking package here, you can see the Batman Arkham City logo there on top. It's very cool. And we have here the Catwoman action figure, and this is nice looking as well, and this is of course Catwoman represented in the game. And over here we have a nice product shot of the two figures with a backdrop there. And on the back of the package we have the picture of the two figures again with an additional backdrop there. And we have here a description of Catwoman in the game. Now we'll be right back and have Catwoman here out of the package. Okay, we're back and we have Catwoman here out of the package, but before we get into the figure, I really want to share with everyone the excellent card art that is part of the packaging for this figure, because it's really exceptional. Now, I keep the backing cards for all of my figures, because I really do appreciate the design work that goes into it. And also to preserve the information for later years, just to look back upon. And but taking a look at this particular piece of card art, it's very, very cool. And we have here a backdrop of Gotham City, or I think it's Gotham City. The game is called Arkham City. I don't know if it's renamed or not. I don't play the game, but you can see the city landscape there, and it's very cool, very gritty, not gothic like the Tim Burton Batman landscape, but very gritty type landscape, and it's very, very cool, and something just really worth preserving. And then you got this top portion here that provides a 3D-ish effect, this banner here. And by the way, which is really difficult to remove the plastic packaging from without having to damage the card. But it's very, very cool, and it's just worthy, I think, of display. I think it's just really, really neat. Okay, now back to the Catwoman figure. And this is a very interesting figure. Really excellent, but there are some flaws, and we'll get into that as we go along. But taking a look at the one accessory that comes with the Catwoman figure, and we have here the Cat o' Nine Tails whip, which is basically just a solid piece of plastic, black in color, and there are sculpting details here. And you can see the strap here, and pretty much the handle that goes about right about there. It's very hard to determine where the handle ends. I think it ends about there, because it's just pretty neat. And of course it's preformed. You can see it twisting around here as if in motion, and then you can see the tip of the Cat o' Nine Tails there. Pretty cool on there. Would have been nice if you had some other painted detail here, but unfortunately it doesn't. Now, the Catwoman figure does wield it in her right hand. Okay, adequate. It's a little loose. Maybe you have to squeeze the fingers in a bit more to get a more secure grip on there. But she does wield it all right on there. But that's the whip. Now on to the Catwoman figure, and this is a really excellent sculpt, really, really nice, a lot of details, on here. And the one major flaw with this figure is really the articulation range. It's a decently articulated figure, but the range of movement for her joints is rather limited. But before we get into the articulation, let's just get into the sculpt, because it's an excellent figure. You can see Catwoman here as she's represented in the game, and it's just really cool. Now her costume is primarily black here, and a lot of it is a very flat colored black, very little gloss. There is some slight gloss on the gloves here. Actually, I should say portions of the glove, but we'll get into that. But looking at the head sculpt here, it's very, very cool, and you can see her wearing her goggles. Now, unfortunately, the goggles are sculpted into the head here, so it's non-removable, which really is unfortunate. I would have liked to have removable goggles, but unfortunately that's not the case. It's sculpted in, and it's actually sculpted in very well. You can see the tint on her goggles here, it's like a rose color red on there, and it's got a slight metallic tint to it, so it's actually pretty cool. And you can actually see the goggle strap going all the way around her head. It's actually pretty neat. And also on her costume, you can see the ears. On her mask there, the ears there. That's pretty cool. And also the small tuft of hair that is coming out from underneath the mask. It's pretty interesting. When this figure was in the packaging, I thought it was a production error. I didn't know it was her hair. But once you get the figure out of the package, there's an outline of very dark gray along the edge of the mask to separate the color between the mask itself and her tuft of hair. So that's actually pretty neat on there, because either from a distance or in the packaging, that tuft of hair I thought was actually part of the mask, but it isn't on there. And you can see she has got these similar colored pinkish lipstick, not similar, but slightly lighter than her goggle color there, and that's very well applied. And you can see here she's wearing a choker here with a cat medallion there hanging off the choker there. Very cool. And you can see the rest of her costume, a very low cut, tight fitting costume there with some flares out on the sides and also along the collar. Very cool. And you can see some of the design work on there. It's very neat. And also on her arm, you can see some painted accent here on the arm, and also on this glove here. It's kind of interesting. You can see the cut here on the sculpt of the glove, but also some of the gloss on the top of her hand going along her forearm here. It's got a slight gloss, but on the underneath it's actually more flat. So it's partial gloss on there. It's actually kind of neat. Of course, the back here is very simple, not too much detail here, although she's got, for a DC figure, she's got a bit of a tush, which a lot of the DC figures from Mattel, they're flat, but this one is actually very well done on there. Yeah, but looking at some more of her costume there, you can see some painted belt buckles there. Very, very cool. And also on her leggings here, you can see some sculpted details over here along the hip. Very neat. And of course you got the boots here. Slight gloss on the boots. Very nice. Glossier on the front than it is on the back. So that's kind of cool. Just the amount of detail they put into this figure. And of course she's got these, I would think, 6-inch stilettos. I don't see how she is able to traverse the city in these stilettos, especially being such an acrobatic character, and which does pose a problem with the figure because they're very small feet, and then you got these very high stilettos. Balance does become an issue. It's very delicate, and there are no peg holes, so you cannot put this figure on a display stand or peg it into a display stand. So you really do have to work quite a bit to balance this figure adequately. And the most of the poses for this figure is going to be pretty much upright. She cannot really crouch too well, which is unfortunate because for a character like Catwoman, she's a very dynamic and athletic character, and if you want to pose it that way, you really can't because of these heels and also the limited range of articulation on this figure. And going over the articulation, the head does go all the way around and does not really go up or down, which kind of sucks. And it does bobble left and right a little bit. It's not loose, it's actually kind of tight on there. The arms do go all the way around, and they do go out and in. The arms can go all the way around at the upper bicep there. The elbows do bend a little bit, not too much range, and the hands go all the way around at the wrist. And you have this hand here in a gripping pose for the cat o' nine tails whips, and you have a rather open palm here. And the torso can bend slightly down, up, and slightly back. Very small range of motion on that torso. And on this particular figure, the torso was stuck. I really had to work on loosening the torso there. The waist does go all the way around. Now the legs are on a different kind of joint than say the female DC Universe Classics figures. There's no hinge on the outside of the hip here, and but it does move out. You can see the hinge on the underneath. It does go up, but that's about as far as it'll go. Down and very little to the back, and it does go out that far to the side. So you can see the small range of movement on the leg, which is unfortunate because of this particular sculpt right there. Now, if this was actually curved a little bit or slanted, it would increase the range of on that leg, but it doesn't. There's a swivel cut at the thigh, allows the leg to go all the way around. Single joint at the knee, and that's about as far back as it'll go. No cut at the boot, which would have been nice if it did have one. And the feet does have a nice range of movement up and down at the ankle here. But no ankle pivot or swivel, so you really only have one swivel point, and that's at the thigh on here. So overall, great figure, excellent sculpt. I really love the sculpt on this figure, and it's just very, very nice. But with the limited range of movement on this figure, and the really the stilettos on that Catwoman wears here, does provide a bit of a balance issue, and especially if you want to get in a dynamic pose. But this is my casual peek into the... I can't even get her to stand on here. This is my casual peek into the Batman Legacy Arkham City Catwoman action figure. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.